I got a problem with the locker room and the PR team. With the Browns.
Okay.
It's a third-string quarterback being interviewed each and every week. Why? Teams should do a better job protecting their young player, who they feel good about, obviously, if they keep 4 quarterbacks on a roster. But somebody needs to grab Shedeur within that locker room, and it probably starts with the PR team.
PR staff.
Stop letting him go up there and have a damn press conference.
Go play ping.
He should have went to Baltimore. He'd be playing this weekend.
Come on, you can't even say that because
What?
nobody don't know Lamar was going to be hurt.
You're right, we did it, but now we do. And if he would have went to Baltimore,
Just
he'd be
like
playing
right
this
now,
week.
not necessarily because technically he's supposed to be starting right now with Cleveland. They're not giving him his shot.
The Cleveland Browns are losing a lot of games. Their season is going downhill fast, and
The Cleveland Browns are losing a lot of games. Their season is going downhill fast, and their coaches are getting criticism from all sides. But even though the organization says everything is fine, and that they are committed to developing their rookie quarterback, and that all decisions are made with the team's best interests in mind, a TikTok investigator just revealed what might be the most damning evidence yet that Kevin Stefanski is actively sabotaging Shedeur Sanders. And when you look at the numbers and compare how Shedeur is being treated to how other rookie quarterbacks are being treated around the league, the pattern becomes so clear that you can't call it a coincidence anymore. This is on purpose. This is planned. This is proof of organizational sabotage caught on tape. A TikTok user named Bueno just put out a video that is going viral on social media. The breakdown he gives is very damaging to Kevin Stefanski's reputation. This isn't a crazy conspiracy theory based on gut feelings and hunches. This is cold, hard statistical analysis that shows a pattern of behavior that is so obvious that even the most loyal Stefanski supporters are having trouble coming up with an explanation. When Bueno started comparing Shedeur Sanders' use to that of other rookie quarterbacks, especially Dillon Gabriel, he found something that should make every Browns fan who has put emotional energy into believing this team finally found their franchise quarterback very angry.
How much that changes. I mean, I've watched Shedeur in college. I've listened to him in the National Football League. That's who he is. A very, almost he's arrogant but confident and humble at the same time. Always talks about his faith. That's what he does. That's who he is. It's different. It's different for a lot of us to see that. He's not the stereotypical get up there, talk like the head coaches talk. It's different, but get used to different. As long as they do give him a plan to succeed, like I saw last week. I mean, there was a lot behind the line of scrimmage. A lot. I mean, it goes about 5 yards down the field. That's the way it should start for a rookie. I'm not holding him to any standard. I told you guys last week, no matter what happens, I'm taking that first start with a grain of salt in terms of going up against the Las Vegas Raiders. Let's just see how he does in situations. He passed a lot of tests for me from what I saw, but yes, it is different listening to him and how he speaks, but still, that's just who Shedeur is.
Kevin Stefanski.
Let's go over what this TikTok investigation found in detail, because the proof is shocking. Bueno opened Shedeur Sanders' ESPN game log and put it next to Dillon Gabriel's stats from the same time in their seasons. The comparison makes it clear right away that Cleveland is doing something very wrong with their rookie quarterback. Kevin Stefanski called exactly 20 pass attempts in Shedeur's first game against the Raiders. 20 for a quarterback who threw for more than 10,000 yards in college, has one of the fastest releases in football, and is an elite defender. Stefanski made a plan for the game that only let him throw 20 times. That is not a plan that makes the most of your quarterback's strengths. That is a plan to make sure he has as little of an effect as possible. Now think about how that compares to Dillon Gabriel's first start. In his first game, Gabriel threw the ball 33 times, which was 13 more times than Shedeur did. This is where things start to get really interesting. Gabriel had a lot more chances to throw the football, but he ended up with fewer passing yards than Shedeur. Let that reality sink in. Shedeur Sanders was more efficient, more effective, and more productive per attempt than Gabriel. But Stefanski didn't give him many chances to change the game. If you are judging quarterbacks based on their performance and results, which is how football is supposed to work, then you should give Shedeur more chances in his second start, not fewer. But it seems that logic doesn't work in Cleveland. The second start makes the pattern even clearer and even worse. Bueno says that in Shedeur's second game, Stefanski only called 25 pass attempts, 25 throws for a quarterback who had already shown that he could be efficient and effective in his first game. Dillon Gabriel, on the other hand, threw the ball 52 times in his second start, 52 tries, while Shedeur only had 25. That is more than twice the amount. That is not a small difference in the way the game is played or the way the offensive philosophy works. That is a whole new way to train and use your rookie quarterback. Consider what this comparison shows. Two rookie quarterbacks were drafted in the same year and are both having trouble adjusting to the speed and complexity of the NFL. However, their coaching staffs are treating them very differently. One quarterback is being given every chance to throw the ball, to learn by doing, to make mistakes and learn from them, and to build rhythm and confidence through practice. The other quarterback is being held back by safe game plans that limit his involvement and make it hard for him to show what he can do when he gets real chances. And somehow, even though this is a strict way to do things, Shedeur Sanders is still doing very well. Think about what he could do if Stefanski really trusted him to throw the ball a lot. The most recent game, in which Shedeur threw for 354 yards and 4 touchdowns, is the smoking gun that proves Stefanski's approach is wrong. Finally, after weeks of limiting Shedeur to very few passes, Stefanski called 42 pass attempts. What happened next? Shedeur left. He threw for more than 350 yards. He scored 4 touchdowns. He played much better than Cam Ward, the first overall pick. He showed everyone watching that he is one of the best young quarterbacks in the league when he actually gets to throw the ball. This proves that the conservative approach he took in his first 2 starts wasn't about protecting him or helping him grow. It was about keeping him down. This is where the conspiracy becomes impossible to deny. You give your rookie quarterback more chances to play in his second start if he does well with few attempts in his first start. This helps him grow as a player. If he keeps doing well, even though he doesn't have a lot of work, you slowly give him more work to make the most of his impact. That is basic coaching logic that every successful team uses when they train young quarterbacks. Instead, Stefanski gave Shedeur even fewer chances in his second start. Then, all of a sudden, he had 42 chances in his third game. What happened? There was nothing about Shedeur's performance that made the earlier restrictions make sense. There was no reason for the big change in approach based on the game situation. The only reasonable explanation is that Stefanski was purposefully limiting Shedeur's chances until outside pressure, whether from the front office, the media, or the fans, forced him to act. Bueno's video perfectly shows this when he says, "Look at how silly this is." Because it is silly. It is impossible to defend. The numbers show that Shedeur Sanders was doing well enough to deserve more chances. Still, Stefanski was actively denying him those chances for reasons that had nothing to do with football skill. And when Stefanski finally let Shedeur throw a normal number of passes, the rookie quarterback immediately showed why he should have been throwing more than 40 times from the start. This isn't a guess. This isn't reading too much into small sample size. This is a clear pattern in the records of a head coach holding back his rookie quarterback's growth until he had to change his mind. The comparison to Dillon Gabriel is especially bad because it takes away any excuses that Stefanski supporters might have. You can't say that 20 pass attempts in a debut is normal when Gabriel threw 33 times in his first game. You can't say that rookie quarterbacks don't usually have conservative game plans when Gabriel threw the ball 52 times in his second game. But Shedeur only threw it 20. You can't hide behind vague statements about development timelines when the facts show that other rookie quarterbacks in the league are getting a lot more chances to learn and grow through volume and experience. It is clear, documented, and unacceptable that Shedeur is being treated differently than his peers. What makes this even more frustrating is that Shedeur Sanders is still performing at an elite level, even though he has fewer chances than his peers and works in a system that seems to be set up to limit his impact. His efficiency numbers are very good. He has made good choices. He is protecting the ball and making plays when he gets the chance. In that last game, he had 42 attempts and showed exactly what he can do when the coaches get out of his way and let him play. 4 touchdowns and 364 yards isn't low. That was a statement performance that showed he is one of the best rookie quarterbacks in the league. The press conference after the game added another level to this conspiracy. Shedeur showed amazing restraint and professionalism when asked about being taken out for the important 20-point conversion attempt. Even though he had done so well, he was careful not to criticize his coaches too much while still showing how competitive he was. But everyone who saw it could tell what was going on. At that moment, of course, he wanted the ball. He had just thrown for more than 350 yards. He had been the offense's main man. He had worked hard to get the chance to tie that game. And once again, at the most important time, Stefanski took the ball out of his hands. What Kevin Stefanski said after the game was even more revealing in how empty it was. He gave no real reason for his decision. After that, he said something that sounds like taking responsibility. But it doesn't mean anything unless he says what went wrong and how he plans to fix it. Fans hate this kind of coach talk because it makes it seem like they are taking responsibility when they are really not. Stefanski takes responsibility in general, but he won't talk about the specific choices that cost his team a chance to win. The pattern that Bueno showed isn't just about how many passes are thrown. It is about what that passing volume says about how much the coaching staff trusts their quarterback, how committed they are to helping him grow, and how willing they are to build an offense around his strengths. You are not giving a talented young quarterback a real chance to succeed if you only let him throw 20 or 25 passes. You are making him be perfect with few chances, and you are not giving him the practice he needs to build rhythm, timing, and confidence. It is like tying one hand behind someone's back and then judging how well they did as if they had full use of both hands. Look at how this method is similar to how successful teams train new quarterbacks. Teams that have faith in their young quarterbacks give them the ball, know that mistakes will happen, and trust that they need to play a lot to learn. They know that throwing the ball 35 to 45 times a game is how quarterbacks learn to read defenses at NFL speed, get their timing down with receivers, and gain the confidence they need to make big plays. The Browns' approach to Shedeur implies a different philosophy. Limit his chances, limit his impact, and only give him real volume when you have to. That is not growth, that is suppression. When you look at the evidence, Bueno's conspiracy theory isn't really a conspiracy theory at all. It is a fact that there is a conspiracy. The statistical comparison shows without a doubt that Shedeur Sanders is being treated differently than the other first-round quarterbacks in his draft class. The fact that the passing volume went up so much when outside pressure grew shows that the earlier limits weren't based on football logic. Shedeur's quick success when he finally got a normal amount of passing volume shows that he could always handle more responsibility than Stefanski was willing to give him. Putting those pieces together leads to an unavoidable conclusion. Kevin Stefanski has been purposefully making it harder for Shedeur Sanders to do well. Why would Stefanski work against the growth of a player that the team spent a lot of money to get in the draft? There are a few theories, but none of them make the Cleveland Browns look good. The most charitable explanation is that Stefanski really doesn't think Shedeur can do it and was trying to protect him from failing by not letting him see too much. But that doesn't make sense because Shedeur did well despite the limits, which means that Stefanski's assessment was wrong from the start. The less kind but more likely explanation is what Ryan Clark said. Stefanski never wanted Shedeur Sanders to begin with. He might have wanted a different quarterback to be drafted. It is possible that he didn't like having a famous player forced on him by the front office. Maybe he doesn't like all the media attention and scrutiny that comes with coaching Deion Sanders' son. If Stefanski didn't choose Shedeur for any reason and doesn't really believe in him, then every choice he makes about the young quarterback will be affected by that bias. Instead of giving Shedeur more chances, he will look for ways to cut them down. He will use conservative game plans that downplay the rookie's impact instead of aggressive ones that show off his skills. And he will keep doing this until outside forces make him change. Several analysts have also talked about the control factor. Some coaches are so focused on keeping their system and their power that they fight against players who threaten to mess with that control. Shedeur Sanders is the kind of player who could change the power dynamics in a locker room because he is confident, has a good background, knows how to deal with the media, and is naturally a leader. If Shedeur does really well, the story becomes more about the quarterback than the coach. The media is more interested in the young star than the coaches. Stefanski seems to value control and structure above all else, so this change could be very uncomfortable for him. So whether he means to or not, he makes plans and systems that stop Shedeur from having those big moments that would make him more important than the coaching staff. The TikTok breakdown also makes you wonder what other patterns there might be in how Stefanski treats Shedeur compared to other players. If he is limiting the rookie's passing volume this much, what else is he doing to slow down his progress? Is Shedeur getting good practice time with the first-team offense? Is he getting the same amount of coaching as other important players? Are game plans being made with his strengths in mind or without them? The video of Bueno Ball opened the door to further investigation, and Browns fans are now looking closely at every part of how their new quarterback is being treated. Browns fans have gone crazy on social media looking at their own film, pulling their own stats, and finding more proof that Bueno Ball's thesis is correct. People are talking about how often Shedeur gets pulled in the red zone for run-heavy packages. Some people are talking about how conservative the play calling is when Shedeur gets going. Fans are keeping track of the time Stefanski has benched Shedeur in important games, even though he played well. The conspiracy theory has turned into an investigation that is being done by thousands of Browns fans, and the evidence they are finding makes the picture of dysfunction in the organization look worse and worse. The comparison to Dillon Gabriel will always be in the back of everyone's mind because it is such a clear and direct point of reference. Both of these quarterbacks were drafted in the same year and are facing similar developmental problems, but their coaching staffs are treating them very differently. Gabriel's team has faith in him and lets him throw the ball more than 50 times, which helps him learn. Shedeur's team only lets him try 20 to 25 times, calls conservative game plans that limit his impact, and only gives him real chances when they have to. As time goes on, those different approaches will lead to very different outcomes in terms of growth, confidence, and ultimate success. It is ironic that Shedeur Sanders is still doing well even though he has one hand tied behind his back, his passing volume is limited, and his coaching staff seems determined to limit his impact. His numbers for efficiency are good, he has mostly made good choices. He is keeping the football safe and making plays when he has the chance. Now think about what he could do if he had the same chances as Gabriel. Think about how his stats would look if Stefanski let him throw 40 to 45 passes a game from the start. Think about how much faster he would grow if he got the practice he needed to improve his timing, rhythm, and confidence. The amount of potential that is being wasted is mind-boggling, and the coaching staff is to blame for it. Bueno's video shows that you don't need to have inside information or leaks from the locker room to know what is going on in Cleveland. The numbers speak for themselves. The pattern is revealed by the number. The way Shedeur Sanders is being treated compared to how other rookie quarterbacks are being developed is so different that it can't be explained by good football reasoning. Kevin Stefanski is either bad at developing quarterbacks, or he is purposely trying to hurt Shedeur Sanders. For a head coach making millions of dollars to run an NFL team, neither option is acceptable. The Browns now have to make a very important choice. They can keep acting like everything is fine, let Stefanski handle Shedeur's growth, and hope that things get better even though all the evidence points to the fact that they won't. They can also accept what the data shows. Their head coach is not helping their rookie quarterback grow as a player and is actually making it harder for him to do well. If they choose the first option, they are putting their franchise's future at risk. If they choose the second option, they will have to make tough decisions about who to keep on staff, which could mean taking Stefanski off of play-calling duties or even firing him. People who like the Browns deserve answers to some very direct questions. Why did Shedeur Sanders only get to throw 20 passes in his first start when other rookie quarterbacks were throwing more than 30 times? Why did he throw fewer passes in his second start instead of more? Why did Stefanski wait until the third game to give him a normal amount of passing volume? What made them make these choices? And how does the coaching staff explain the huge difference in how Shedeur was treated compared to his teammates? These questions aren't meant to catch anyone off guard or make them look bad. These are real questions that get right to the heart of how the organization is building the most important job in football. The press conference after the game, just after Shedeur's big performance, showed a lot about how messed up things are in Cleveland. This was a rookie quarterback who had just thrown for 364 yards, scored 4 touchdowns, and completely outplayed the first overall pick. And he is at a podium being asked why he wasn't on the field for the most important play of the game. There is no way to overstate how ridiculous that situation is. Shedeur Sanders did everything that was asked of him and more, but his coaches still didn't trust him when it really mattered. That sends a terrible message to everyone in the locker room, not just Shedeur, about who this coaching staff trusts and who they don't. It is especially annoying that Kevin Stefanski won't give any details about how he makes decisions because it means he can't be held accountable. When you say I'm responsible for all of it, but don't say what you did wrong or how you'll fix it, you aren't really being accountable. You are just pretending to. Real accountability means owning up to specific mistakes, explaining why they happened, and saying what will be different in the future. Stefanski doesn't do any of that. Instead, he just vaguely accepts blame and then makes more bad choices. If the Browns front office hasn't seen the statistical evidence that Bueno put together, they should. Someone in that organization needs to look at the passing volume comparison, see how much better Shedeur is being treated than other rookie quarterbacks, and ask the coaching staff why. If those explanations aren't good enough and they can't explain why they keep their rookie quarterback from getting more chances, then they need to make some changes to the staff. You can't waste great quarterback talent just because your head coach is too stubborn, controlling, or biased to help that talent grow. The theory of a conspiracy has become a fact. The proof is too much to ignore. There is no denying the path. Kevin Stefanski has been systematically making it harder for Shedeur Sanders to succeed by limiting the number of passes he can throw to far below what other rookie quarterbacks get, and only giving him real chances when he was forced to do so by outside pressure. That is not progress. That is not safe. That is sabotage. It doesn't matter if it was on purpose or because of bad coaching. It is not okay. Browns fans should be very angry that their franchise quarterback is being treated this way. What do you think about this statistical smoking gun that Bueno found? Is this evidence that Kevin Stefanski has been trying to hurt Shedeur Sanders since day one? Should the Browns take Stefanski off of play-calling duties to help their quarterback grow? How much longer can this group ignore the clear pattern of problems? Leave your thoughts in the comments because this news is spreading like wildfire and the pressure on Cleveland's coaches is about to reach nuclear levels. If these numbers shock you as much as they should every Browns fan, hit the like button. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss when we tell you more about what is really going on in Cleveland. Let everyone you know who likes football see this, especially the Browns front office. The plot has been revealed. It is time to hold people accountable because the receipts are there.